We see it all the time now. The constant wave and whispers of doom and gloom surrounding the lovely model railway hobby which we all follow. And there seems to be a lack of reasons to be cheerful. There's always a reason to be miserable. From people whinging about what people on YouTube do, to what manufacturers charge, to all things in between. But I maintain there are still reasons to be cheerful, part 3. So join me as we look at the reasons to be positive and cheerful and happy in the model railway industry, and I bet you almost dollars to donuts that this video will do terribly because it isn't being negative, and that will prove my point entirely. You just love to be miserable. Come on then, let's get on with it. Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Iron Horse Railways. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel before we continue any further. So, reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Don't worry, there wasn't actually a part 1 or 2. That's just a reference to a pop song, for those of you that don't know. Anyway, there's always a sale on. Now, a lot of people will say that a constant sale is bad for business. That if a manufacturer or a retailer is always selling their products at a low price or discounting from RRP up to 20, 30, 40%, that's bad. And I kind of get it. But also, that means that you are releasing stock and you are getting revenue. And revenue means you can buy more stock, which means you can make more revenue, which means you can make more stock, which means you can get more revenue, which means you can get more stock, which means the whole cycle and circle repeats itself. So it's a good thing, to a degree. So other people saying that it's a very expensive hobby and it's difficult to afford models, I understand that, I really do get it. However, there's always an opportunity, it would seem, to save a little bit of money over RRP, and if you buy something at RRP, well, there's only a slight chance you might miss out on it. Let's face it. Model railway retailers are creatures of habit, so the big box shifters will inevitably knock the bottom end out of it and charge nothing, and that will force everyone else to price match. So yes, rule part 1, reason 1, whatever, I'm not going to remember these. Grab a bargain, you can grab a bargain. Good, bargains. A lot of people are also saying that you can't get the bargains at model railway shows anymore. I heard such witterings, of course, I heard the witterings on Facebook that a bunch of people had been to shows recently and you just can't get the bargains that you used to. And I went to a model railway show and I went on eBay and bought everything I saw at the show on eBay because it was cheaper. You're a dickhead. No, you are. And I'll tell you why you're a dickhead. Because you've visited... Oh, there's a squirrel out there. No, I promise you, you are a dickhead, because what you've done there is you've gone to a retailer at a show, and that's cost them money to be there. You've picked up their stock, you've looked at it, you've put your dirty, grubby, greasy, unwashed hands all over the fucking thing, and then you've gone, I'm not paying your price, what's your best price? Like you are some sort of trading fucking mogul, like you are the Don Johnson of model railway bargains and wheeler dealing, like some sort of nasty anorak wearing del boy. You're not, you're just a dickhead. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of gentle handling, okay? Now, if you see something there in front of you and you want that thing, this is very simple, try and keep up with me, those bargain hunters out there of you. You see something at a model railway shop, it's an item that you want. You look at the price the retailer is asking for this item. You now have 2 reasonable choices. 1, pay the asking price, or 2, politely ask if there is any movement on the price, please, Mr. Trader or Mrs. Trader. The trader will then go, yeah, sure, we can do you a little bit on that, mate, not a problem at all, and they may take an amount off, which is absolutely spot on and is perfect and very generous of that individual retailer, whoever they may be. However, to outright expect that to be the case and almost demand it with an air of arrogance befitting that of a member of a royal family is just ridiculous, really. And it just serves to prove and show what an entitled wanker you actually are. Now, there's nothing wrong with haggling, of course, but if the retailer says to you, I'm sorry, mate, no, that's fine. There's no more movement on this price. It's already been discounted by 10, 15, 20%. Realistically, By the time you've got your little phone out and you've got your little cheese sandwich and you're sat there on the bench and you're scrolling through page after page of dross on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or one of the big box shifter websites, and you've seen the same thing there for an extra £5 cheaper, by the time you've paid postage and waited, you could have just taken it home with you and had it, and you could have supported a person and their business at a model railway show. And you would have actually contributed to helping the industry grow more, rather than putting the same £10 note into the same big retailers. Which is fine, because the big retailers do deserve to have their day as well, that's absolutely fine, but come on, there are loads of excellent retailers out there. Soil Models of Lee, for example, the sponsor of this very show, absolutely outstanding small retailer, very good customer service, they will post out to you, they do have a website, and they do discount as well. So what's the problem? So no, you're not entitled to be discounted, and I realise we're supposed to be cheerful, and I've gone off on a tangent, so let's look at more cheerful things, shall we? Okay then. So, continuing to be cheerful, we now have the advent of 3D printing. 3D printing is a wonderful little, what's the word I'm looking for, little avenue, shall we say, that you can stroll down and get many things for your model railway. I have a lot of 3D printed items on my layout, and I've actually myself recently joined the 3D printing bandwagon and got myself a 3D printer. From my new job, I have been exposed to the world of 3D modelling and design and 3D printing, and I must say I am very impressed with it. So I have now got a 3D printer, and I have made some things with it for my layout, and I may well consider selling them to you good people at home through Sawyer Models. So yeah, but that's coming much later on. But why is 3D printing a good thing? Well, it's good for several reasons. One, you can pretty much make whatever you want if you can design it. And if you can't design it, some other bugger can. And if you can find a 3D model of it out there on the internet that someone's already made of the thing you want, you just need to scale it down and print it. That's it. Print it and paint it, stick it on your layout. It's done. It is the new scratch building. And I know that the brass army out there is going to be, where's the sailing? Shaking their fists and angry, and they're soldering irons up in arms. How dare you say that's the new scratch building? But it is the scratch building of the 21st century. Rather than whittling away a piece of wood and brass for 3 or 4 days and getting your tiny screws out, you whittle away at a computer screen, designing triangles to make them look like smaller triangles, make them look like bigger triangles, and eventually enough triangles make it look like a cylinder. Don't know how that works, but there we are. Enough triangles makes a square or a circle or whatever. Anyway, yes, 3D printing is the new scratch building, and that means it's affordable. 3D printed stuff also tends to be a little more affordable rather than for example, a Bachmann Scenecraft engine shed. It is a beautiful piece of kit, a very highly detailed model, and it costs about £100. Whereas my engine shed, which I 3D printed and designed myself and printed out myself, all in all, cost me about maybe 50p in filament, and then a couple of pence in paint, and a couple of hours sat in front of the telly watching the film, enjoying it, painting it up. It was great. It was actual modelling. Really good. And I think you'll agree, it actually looks pretty damn good. Especially from what we all refer to as the 2-foot rule, or the viewing rule for a model railway. It looks cool. I've even designed this lovely little diesel tank as well for the bottom end of the engine repair shed, the refueling point on the depot end there. And of course the low relief warehouse, which you can even add a little shadow box to, put the shadow box to it, so you can put a little scene so the windows are see-through, and you can put things in the shadow box and look at it and see a little scene going on, but I've not done that. You've also got stuff like fencing's 3D printed, these little concrete bollards are 3D printed, these sheds are 3D printed. It's fantastic. These safety barriers are 3D printed. This crane and these loco lifts and these stairs and all pretty much everything on the depot has been 3D printed. Even the skips have been 3D printed. It looks fantastic. It really does. And I would have never been able to make that sort of stuff out of bits of plastic card. And hey, hats off to the people that can. First and foremost, yeah, great. You are a talented bastard. Well done. I'm not. Okay, I am a fucking elder millennial / late Gen Xer. I was born on the precipice. of the changing of the moons. And therefore, I was born in a world where I saw the Betamax tape and the VHS and the cassettes, and also the dawn of the internet. So I'm part of that generation that's seen a lot, and the computers are better. They just are. Except that all moved on. Okay. Anyway, so yes, another reason to be cheerful. 3D printing's awesome, and there we are. And eventually, 3D printers will become so affordable that everyone can do it. So the people that are out there making their entire business just around 3D printed stuff for your model railway, that's fine. But ultimately, your days are kind of numbered, because eventually people will just start buying 3D printers and printing their own stuff and copying your stuff. Because let's face it, there's not really much you can do if someone wants to make their own fences. Another reason to be cheerful is the quality of the model. Oh my god, my chair won't stop spinning. The quality of the model railway items we are receiving from the manufacturer. Now, folks like Dapple, Rapido, Hornby, Bachmann, Accurascale, others, they've all really upped their game in the last since COVID really. They've all sort of gone whack like that, and the quality's gone way up through the roof. Now, there are still the odd teething issues sometimes to deal with, that's fine. Oh, the quality of the Razor Run stuff coming out now from manufacturers is absolutely spot bloody on. And there's nothing really comes close to it. Now, all the people out there will still go, well, I've got an old Lima Class 37 and it's absolutely fine. Okay, cool, that's fine. Meanwhile, I want glazing that's already flush from the manufacturer. Now I don't have to really piss about and all everything else. But again, that is also part of the hobby, and that is a crazy thing, okay? Bear with me on this. You now have a choice, okay? You can 3D print your scenery, you can do your scenic work with your static grass applicator. For your stock, you can buy a Lima Class 37, for example, for 20, 30 quid with the old pancake motor. You can 3D print a motor mount for a new CD motor, or you can get these little motors from China, from Amazon. They cost pounds, and you can make a 3D printer mount for it and an axle, and you can motorise pretty much anything. Get a wheel set, get a gear, super glue the gear onto the wheel set, mount the motor, and guess what? You've just motorised something. It's super easy. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how easy that is. That's going to be a future project. Watch out for that, okay? We're going to do that, okay? So yeah, you can upgrade the old models and do some tinkering and upgrade the glazing, the wheel sets, the mesh on the grills and all that lot. Or you can go out and buy a super detailed, highly spec'd, ready to run model. The choice really is yours, boys and girls. We are properly spoiled now when it comes to ready to run stuff, and the quality is, it is great, let's be honest. A bad model these days is very, very far and few between, and there's not really much negativity to be said about it. So I really do struggle when people start to lambast manufacturers and slate them and say that they're rubbish and that they're crappy and that the quality is not great, because it is. Compare it with something from 40 years ago, it's really brilliant. Really are. You've also got excellent third-party support now from manufacturers and retailers who are doing accessories. Shameless plug, DCC Concepts make some great stuff, some great decoders and stylisers and what have you. That squirrel's back. There you go. Squirrel. Yeah. See, I told you I wasn't crazy. So yeah, come on boys and girls, let's be real about this. It is a great time to be a railway modeller. It truly is. We've got the wealth of the almost 100 years of experience before us to fall back on, and we've got a lot of new blood coming into the hobby, and new blood means new ideas and new ways to do things, which you might read as the 3D printed things and stuff. There's a lot, I think, to be pleased about, a lot that manufacturers should indeed be proud of, and I really do believe there's a lot more to come, and things really will only get better. Yes, that's right. It's time for the sponsors advert. Yes, of course, it is Sawyer Models of Lee. Why go anywhere else when you can get everything you need right here? They have rolling stock, accessories, scenic items, tools, whatever it is you need to build a banging model railway, they can absolutely supply it. And I should know, because I've been going to them for quite a while now, and I've got everything I've needed from them. You can either buy from them from their website, or you can go in store for superb customer service. Remember guys, visiting Sawyer Models really does help me out, so if you can, please do so, and do your part to keep helping support small, local, independent model railway stores. We need them now more than ever. I mean, look, we're at the stage now where we can have ready-to-run models of things like this LNER Y1, which I got recently from Andy at Soy Models. I think it's made by Dapol for model rail, and it's an absolutely cracking little bit of kit. It's so unique and different, and you've got firms like what I'm going to call the almost boutique manufacturers like Railworks that have made the more recently demountable tank wagons, and of course their wonderful, I'd say industry leading low mat wagons. We've also got industrial prototypes too, coming from manufacturers like KR Models with their lovely Hunslet Steelworks locomotive. You've got so much choice, and of course you can also make your trains and locomotives run like the real thing. For example, I sound fitted this bad boy, so listen to this. That is now sound fitted, and I've also made it work with a real brake. So you have to actually drive it. So like, if I just reduce the speed step to 0, it'll keep going. I have to actually press the brake button to get the thing to stop. Which is absolutely flaming fantastic. We are properly spoiled in this day and age. We really, really are, boys and girls. And not only do they look good, they also run really well too. I mean, look at that. That is just splendid. How can anyone not be happy with having something like this on their layout? I mean, look at how unique that train is. I mean, this train could actually technically exist in preservation as well, because one of those exists at Leeds. I always forget the name of it, the railway at Leeds, and even the demountables work, and of course the low mats work as well. Absolutely amazing. Why would anyone not want to get involved with modelling these days when you've got stuff like this? There you go, look, and you press your brake button. Cracking. What's not to love about it, honestly? I mean, even down to the finer details like what type of coupling you use. We can even have realistic couplings like the 3-link couplings you have in real life, and it just adds more and more realism to these models. So, thank you for joining me today. Do please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It validates my existence and makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself in my room alone. That squirrel keeps looking at me. He's judging me. Maybe he wants to play with the train today. I'm going to go invite the squirrel in. See you next week. Bye-bye.